as I go down that line, what I'm going to do is walk you into the Virtual Ecology site. I'm going to take you to the YouTube channel as well. That YouTube channel is going to give you all the videos that you've seen from our trail camera captures. It's going to give you all the 360-degree videos. You're going to see a bunch of that right here on the interface I'm going to walk you through this morning. But then you're going to need to capture some of those when you do your last term report section or your last term report series of things. In other words, you're going to do this term report number 3, which is about the trees and the plants and the vegetation that you find out on Kamiak Butte. It's going to tie into the live field trip as well. But from that report, you're going to write the self-selected topic. This is one of the funnest ones of all because it's something that you really energize on. What do you see at Kamiak Butte that you'd like to do your special term report section on? It's been highly variable, but the thing I got to say every time is you got to select something about Kamiak Butte. It's unique. It's something you are really energized by, and you're going to do it. Write up that report. I want a lot of specificity. I'm just going to highlight on this one more time to say, don't make this an inch deep and a mile wide. I want some depth to this. So don't write the report about all the wildlife at Kamiak Butte. Ain't going to do it. Write about one of them. Write about a specific characteristic of that one species. Okay, now you're getting something you can write in depth about. You find that idea, you do that term report section, and maybe you need some photographs that you're going to get from the trail cameras or from the 360 videos that we've made. I'll show you how to grab those, how to harvest them. But then at the very end of that, after your whole term report is written, you're going to make your term report presentation as a YouTube video. I'm going to show you how we've done it, and what I support in this class is to use PowerPoint as your mechanism for the program that will kind of pull them together and present them for you. You're going to do your audio recordings and all these good things that tag on to this. But for that, you may want to slide in a video too. I'm going to show you how you can harvest any of the videos on the YouTube channel with PowerPoint to insert into your video. We'll spend some time here in class in about a month to go through all of that and really piece them together one by one. You're going to do it fine, but be prepared. Just be thinking about it. What do you want to write about? How do you want this one to flow? This is going to be the fun part of this class, really. It's a load of fun to spend your time doing something like that. So anyway, that's getting all cart ahead of the horse, because what I really want to do is step into this field trip introduction. There's a big line up here. And this scene that you see right here, that is the background we had on the Virtual Ecology site up until, a couple of months ago. And when we added in this new scene that you're going to pick up here in just a moment. And then I think, I'm just going to go right into the actual site. This is the Virtual Ecology site. It's here at WSU. It's in WordPress. So we manage this site this way. And it is your good interface. Anybody who can get on with me as we go through this is going to be great. What I'm going to do is click on that, start field trip. And now it relaunches that same scene. And if you do nothing, this is kind of the freaky thing. Notice how the screen is kind of sliding off to the side? Well, that's all right. Just click on it anywhere and you recaptured it again. But it's this nice room. And I got to say, Aiden and I talked about this kind of a scene. And one of the ideas we had was a blimp. That we make a blimp inside and you get to walk around the blimp landing site. And then he came up with this idea, and I'm like, Aiden, thank you so much. And I've talked about Aiden before. He was a student in this class in 2020 spring as a pandemic hit. And he was one of the people who said, hey, let's look at this 3D imagery and the virtual reality interface. That's what we've launched and made right here. Hey, you get a lot of interactions. You can click on these and they open up. That's kind of nice. It's a lot of time to bring us up to really this tour that I want to take you on right now. So this tour has these right now 8 different launching points. And we're going to go through all of them, but where I want you to go on this is to see how you can use these data, what you can really learn from them. I'm going to go ahead and tap onto the tree populations first. Immediately we're on that hot air balloon or the blimp. It did make it in, just not as the landing site. But the blimp's right there. Anyway, what I've got now are quite a few things. One, you can step out on any of these and click on it. It teleports you to that part or that point on Kamiak Butte. I'm going to talk about Douglas fir. That's fine. Now get out of here, Dr. Bill. How do you get off of him? Get to pause it too, right? Oh, come on, Ness. Yeah, I just got to hit the back button and back into the launch again. And now the odd part for me is seeing this first time in the Oculus headsets was to put on the Oculus headset and hit one of those and have myself talking to me right there as a, okay, that was weird, but maybe not for you guys. You get to listen to Dr. Bill all the time. But what I want you to do is think about getting some time on your Oculus headsets that we have right here in this building. That was the idea that you would talk to Chris Lavore. Okay, Chris Lavore is down one floor right below us right here. You go knock on the door and he will do time for everybody in this class to go right down the hall into a virtual reality room where you put on the Oculus headset. Put it on and get a tour, walk right into this site and start meandering through. Understand how you use it, do it. That can happen on the Oculus. It can also happen on your Google Cardboard. But remember these things that I gave you at the very beginning of class. You still have them, I know, but to rip this apart and put your phone in there, lock it up and use it. I do it too. I mean, I put my phone in here and I watch the different scenes that we have. All of these give you a little bit of additional insight to all the things that we're talking about. And right now for this term report section, you're starting today, you're going to be able to go to those videos and pick up details based in Kamiak Butte, like the Western pine beetle outbreak that we're having on the Ponderosa pine right now at Kamiak Butte. If you're really into entomology, you might be looking at that one as a good topic, as a hot one, right at Kamiak Butte, and start to really develop it out. If that's the thing that interests you, it's up there, it's good. All these different scenes, different things that are presentations, and there's one additional right here. I'm going to go ahead and rack it in there. And that is to look straight up. Okay, in forestry, we use a thing called a densiometer. It's a little unit that you hold in the palm of your hand. It's got a concave lens on the top of it. And what it does is it reflects what's above. It's got a grid on it that looks just like that. That densiometer is made so that you can look up at the trees above you and tell how much of the sunlight is intercepted by green photosynthesizing plant leaves. Okay, that's exactly what we recreated here to put this grid into the sky on this plot to say, now, can I make a good heuristic estimate of how much photosynthetic energy is being captured right above me right now? This is a good step for you. On these two plots that we have, north-facing aspect and the south-facing aspect, you can look straight up. You can use this densiometer view to say, this is how much I think is being intercepted by the photosynthesizing leaves. Okay, it's a good hit. You can do it. It's something. Oh, I got to restart my field trip. That's beautiful. There we go. You can use that, and it's part of the description of what we're going to look at right here. And I'm going to spend literally Wednesday talking about this one. Now, on this entire scene series, I'm on the rollerball with my mouse. You can see me zooming in and zooming out. Okay, this whole idea is this zoom in, zoom out. It is part of that 360 camera. And in the very beginning, Aiden Elmel, he had his own GoPro. He brought it here. He says it was not a very expensive camera in the day, backing up just a couple of years ago. But it wasn't the highest resolution, but it was way more than we ever had before. Now what we did is we used a student technology fee grant that we applied for the very first year in 2020. We got it for 2021. And that was one of the very first purchases, was to get a new high density 360 camera. Okay, this production grade, high quality camera, we got it. And now all of the new videos, like this one I'm looking at right here, is with that 4K dense, I think it's a 4K is the way to call that one, high quality 360 camera. The bigger part of that is the incredible size of the memory that they generate when they do these. Because every camera shot, as you look at that 360 camera, there's 6 cameras that are recording in synchronicity of high density. So it's making these 2 terabyte hits every time you do a big video production. It shrinks by the time you produce it, but in the production phase, you need a lot of memory storage. And that's all right. That's what we put into play on this. Now, this is the tree data as I'm sliding around this scene. And right now you're seeing all these trees that are numbered. Okay, as I go around and look at those, these are the trees that we're going to use for our sampling plots. There's a couple things you see floating around the screen, like this camera lens right here. This is another purchase we made. It's a drone that we can fly through the forest setting. Now, Danny Albel is, am I pronouncing that right? Danny is a doctoral student here in the SOE, and he's been flying the drone inside the canopy like this for me. This is one he did, and what this does, it gives you another view, another vision of what you're trying to describe for the plant populations out here. And right now, these are static in that they're just one hit, one time of the year, that one day. But you can see a lot of what is happening here. You see the sinensis showing out. That tells me this was either September, October when this flight was made. I can tell it just because of the understory plant vegetation, those leaves and what they're doing. Okay, these are the things that you get to see on this site. Every time you see one of these icons pop up, I can grab the eye for information, and I find out a lot of information now that you are going to use when you do this summary and the assignment that is tacked into this field trip experience, specifically onto this virtual field trip. One of the things is the description of the site where you're standing right now. We got the GPS location, the longitude and latitude. You follow that around, the elevation, the aspect, the slope. These are descriptions that you're going to use when you talk about or write about this site that you're describing. This is the idea of place matters. Okay, this is our place, this is our hit, but then get rid of those. I got to re-click that eye. There we go. Then we're going to spend a lot of time on this one. When you hit this number 1, now we're getting the tree data. I'm telling you, this is a Douglas fir species. And by the way, we're going to abbreviate these on the form that you use as just DF, Douglas fir. Okay, that's the first step around. And we'll talk about that one on Wednesday as you record these data. But literally, you're going to record the distance from the plot center to the tree. It's a height, it's a diameter. That diameter of rest height, we're really going to tap into that one because we have to describe, here's the fun part for you. Yeah, fun, right? I want you to think about, as you describe the average height, height is a linear measurement, right? I'm looking at that tree saying it is 105 foot tall. I can take all the different heights of the species and average them together. I've got an average height. But when you step this around to look at the diameter of that tree, that diameter is, it's now not a linear measure. You may think about using a straight ruler to do it, but you're measuring the diameter of the tree and dividing by 3.14, that whole tack through that we do, but that is getting that quadratic measurement of that tree bole. Okay, that means we have to do a quadratic mean diameter when we do the averaging of those. There's a formula for it. I'll absolutely walk you through that 4 or 5 times each. But as you do that, you're going to describe it. Now you have a different means of describing what is the average diameter of the trees on this site as opposed to another site. We're going to talk about expanding this out to all of the woodland types that we see up at Kamiak Butte. We're going to just define this as 2. That is the south-facing aspect and the north-facing aspect. Those are going to be the things we really tag on and look at. But these are the data you have to record. You have to know it, be able to grab every one of those and fill them out into the form that you use. These are the big hits for you. You know that they're out here, and I'm going to go ahead and tap into this little blimp over here to say, now I want to go back to that big blimp in the sky. I'm on the north-facing aspect, and I can recognize it right there with my 1 and 2. By the way, that's the door. It takes you right back to that room at the entrance to Kamiak Butte. So we're not going to go there just yet. We're going to look for the other blimp that is flying around right about there. Now, when I do that, it's going to take me over to another blimp on the south-facing aspect. Okay. By the way, you look over here. What do you think we're looking at? How about Moscow Mountain? Go far enough just right, you're going to look over at Pullman campus. Okay, so right here, we have this second tree set. This is the south-facing aspect. Over here, we have 5 trees. At the very beginning, I think we had 7 on the north-facing aspect. You can see them all right here. We have the same ideas that you can grab tree number 1. It'll pop up its information. You scroll it around, you find it right there. These are the data you're going to record, like I say, on Wednesday, or we'll hit them hard. Another flight through the canopy area here. It's just automatically going. Now, by the way, you can use any of these videos either to capture them from right here or from the YouTube channel, which I'll walk you onto in just a moment. But these are the things that you can pull off of this virtual ecology site. and really get a better understanding of how we're really bringing them all around. You do have to click and drag, bring up all your trees, get their species and identifications. You know, go back to the door now. There we go. Yes, sir. Yes, but we're going to do tree characteristics as a full push on Wednesday. Right now, I'm just kind of getting you familiar with getting through the site, understanding what's out here and what additional is available. I'm going to take you over to the seasonal change video. Now, this is another great addition that we came up with, that Aiden really took it on his shoulders to hit, and that was to take this 360 camera out to Kamiak Butte every month at about the same time, which usually was after the 15th and before the 30th, to put that camera right at the permanent plot locations every time. Right now, we're standing in August 2021. And you can spin it around just like before. There's some photographs you can grab and see what they show, but really, I want you to look up. Okay, right there, it's a look up to say, I'm going to show you an entire year's worth of static photographs of these different sites. Yeah, static. 360 videos are static. Well, at any point, you can just say, I want to teleport over to December. And right away, you see the snow on the ground. You've seen me put some of these images into the lecture video materials that I share for class. So this is where I did it. This is where I came to really grab these and understand what is that seasonality push. Okay, I love this one, by the way, and Allie and I were talking about mushrooms a minute ago. There you go again. These are the mushrooms that are, I don't know if they were caught in the snow or if they kind of came up, but I don't know if anybody who likes to grow in the snow. They had a Podocinovic under mushroom species that was talked about. That's not Podocinovic, but it's a different snow-loving mushroom. Anyway, these are just the scenes to walk you around the site, let you know what I'm looking at here, always able to teleport around, because this is one of the things that if you are putting this into your discussion, for instance, on your video that you're going to make for class, and you're already able to capture a couple of scenes out of here as you gave your narration about this changes in the seasons. You know about that carbon tree that we did out of Helsinki, Finland, talking about that 40 degrees Fahrenheit, saying that below this, the trees are dormant. They're not photosynthesizing. They're not even respirating here. This would be a great way to kind of show some of those things, to say, as the time that I landed in June, man, everybody's game on and ready to go. I just click it, it's green, and you got the absolute visual concept of what we're looking at here. Yeah, spinning me around, there we go. So I'll go back to the blimp. You've got the ideas now. This is how you're going to navigate the site. Anywhere I can grab that door and teleport myself back to that launching point. Now, we got a lot of wildlife videos and photographs out here as well. Not as many on this interface as we have on the YouTube channel. Now, this weekend, I took way too much time, but I put up 2 new videos that we captured recently. One, I'll take you into YouTube and show them to you. One is that monster moose that I showed you in class here a couple of weeks ago. The other one was something that just totally caught me by surprise. A bat. A bat on the trail cameras that doesn't look anything like a bat until I tell you that's what it was. Anyway, all these different shots, all these different scenes, you're going to be able to land on these points, explore them, see what you've got, really try to drive it home too. This is a kind of an interesting one right here. This is on the north-facing aspect to the west, well, north and west, out of the main parking lot area. But within this site, what you're going to find is just spin it around. I'm sure it's going to show up any second now. Yeah, right about there. And I can kind of zoom in on that as well. Right there, I click it. This one is absolutely deceiving. What happened to this tree? Why did that form right here? Anybody got an idea? Anybody tripped up there? Who would have made that? If it wasn't made by the tree, and I got a little insight for you, it wasn't made by the tree. This is something else that got into the tree and made this. So right away you think, okay, a bird, right? What kind of bird makes a nest like that? Ain't a bird. You saw that video I put into one of the lecture videos recently, which was a bunch of squirrels in my backyard getting into the trees and making a nest. Those are rodents. Oh, okay. Well, who's making a nest as a rodent in a tree like that? What's our biggest rodent in North America? You got an idea? Talk to me. That porcupine, you got it. Porcupines nest in trees. There's a lot of that. We're going to find one of those nests on the field trip, which is kind of fun. Kind of listen to me. Oh, I'm such an exciting guy. I look at rodent nests. Ooh. But that is a porcupine nest. That's a place where the porcupine is getting off of the ground, because on the ground, any cougar can come along and get a face full of needles and eat a little rat. Okay. This is just the porcupine nest built on that site, and you got him right there. Am I going to be able to get right back to here? All these different sites, you're going to get the ideas, follow them through, see what kind of wildlife imagery you can get. But again, I also want to say is, even though, here's our porcupine friend right here. Oh, come on, you're not there. Yeah, you're right about there. There he is. Our little porcupine friends, they come up and down this trail most of all. We even call this camera trap point the porcupine trail. We got like 6 or 7 different porcupine captures of these rodents right here. They got a whole bunch of others, of course. They come in with the coyotes. You see some of that discussion that I put up about the infrared vision that the deer and the elk, deer and elk and moose and the coyotes have, that they see in the near infrared. And you got to start to ask yourself, why do they have that adaptation to be able to see in the near infrared vision? Now, this is another video that I have a great ball with, a great time of fun. What you're looking at there is a little 2-point having a bite to eat, but look at what he's eating. What is he scrumping on? Come on, Allie, what is he eating? He's eating a shroom. This deer is, wait a minute, it's a herbivore. Herbivores eat plants, right? We talk about that one a whole bunch. Talking about that whole trophic level of discussion, this is what we base it on. You have the plant photosynthesizing, you have the deer, the ungulates, eating the plants. That makes it trophic level 2. But right there, this buck, he loves his shrooms. He's in there scrumping on them. That means that his trophic level just changed. All of a sudden, that herbivore is not totally an herbivore. He's also eating a mushroom. So that puts that mushroom at trophic level 2 because it got its energy from the plants that photosynthesized. Mushrooms don't have any green. They cannot photosynthesize at all. They get their energy from those plants. When the deer eats it, that makes it trophic level 3. We just pumped everything up one level. And I guarantee we're going to tap into that one quite a few more times as we get into the trophic discussions again. We're not quite done with those, but just get in here, watch these, have a little bit of time. Like me, I say, get in there, waste some time, all right? Just get familiar with it, understand where you're going, what these mule deer are doing out there on this side and what their real trek is. It's a good time. You get to really put things in context. All of this, though, I'm going to go back to my door. I didn't go through all of them, and I won't, but I want you to get up here and look at these wildlife populations. This is one I tapped into quite a while ago. This is looking more at that geologic substrate material. And right here, we see that quartzite material. It's not flood basalts. We know that it's up on Kamiak Butte. It has to be quartzite, but then I see lichens all around the side. I talked about that one a little bit more. Here you get to see the lichens and how they're degrading that quartzite material to make it into soil. It takes a while, 20 million years. Is that enough to make a little powder of dirt? Yep, that's the kind of time that it takes to decay this, and for the, in this case, for those lichens to be able to make a difference on the side. Just get in there, enjoy what you're doing, what you see. There's a lot of visions, a lot of imagery of what we're doing out here. So I'll go ahead and grab back to that balloon and then back to my door when I find it. There's my door, out in the middle of the field. Got to walk out in the forest a little bit. Get in there, experience them. Now we have the birds, and a new piece that we're going to be adding in here real soon is that nocturnal flight indicator, which has been running nonstop since we did it as a class, well, informally as a class here about a month ago, that has been recording. We're going to pull those data down and integrate that into this site. That is identification of what the birds that we're calling, the count and the timing of all the migration of the different species going overhead. Going to be adding it in here, but all of these now, this is kind of a fun one right here. We're on that main trail going up the north-facing aspect over to the crest of the butte. Right about there, oh, that's just a chickadee. That's not the one. Would have been right there. So we're walking up that trail, me and Aiden and Mason. I think there's 2 or 3 other folks. And Mason found this feather. He said, Dr. Bill, what is it? I looked at that and said, I'm not sure, but I think that's a grouse. Him and I says, I don't think it's a grouse. Now, Mason Marin knows birds boatloads more than I do. And he started looking a bit at that more. And he says, no, that is a great horned owl. He gave the name right there, the great horned owl, and that is the species that we made the nest boxes for. So far, we don't have the videos of those nest boxes with the eggs and the nests up on this site just yet, but we do have 4 different great horned owl nest bags up at Kamiak Butte, and we're working right now on adding in nest boxes for the barn owl. And we got 4, maybe 5 are going to go up along the south-facing aspect of the butte. We hope to have them up later this semester before the snow flies, because that's when the birdies like to make a nest, have babies and raise their young. What I'm really struggling with right now is getting a trail camera inside the box to make the good video imagery of them. There's a few of them on the market right now, and I've seen them. You can get onto YouTube and just do a search on barn owls. You'll see these great videos. What shocks me is every one of those, everyone? Yeah, so far I haven't found one that isn't in somebody's backyard where they have a cable right to the internet. So that they have total power, recording, constant husbandry of that. It's kind of unnerving to say, we got a remote setting here. I need the camera to be able to focus at that short distance in infrared and save the data locally. Nobody's got it, but we're working. We're going to find something that works for this, I hope. Anyway, that is along this birds scene that you have right here. Where's my door? I'll get out of here. There we go. Back out in the fields. Spent some time looking at that. We also have the plants. Now, this is one that I tapped on once earlier in this class, but it's all these different scenes of the flowering species that we have across Kamiak Butte. Not all of them, of course. You see a little bed right there. You can pull it up and you get a naming of it. So this arnica blossom, you know the timing and when it happens at Kamiak Butte. If you're on the north-facing aspect, it's a little bit later than on the south. But these are the kind of scenes that we're going to grab, be able to know what they are. Can you use them? I hope so. I even have a video, yeah, right there. Here's me talking in May about the blossoms up on south-facing aspect of Kamiak Butte. Hey, this goes more to that idea of the climate discussions that we all had. But remember, we talked about that idea on south-facing aspect because of the juxtaposition of that facing the rising sun. You get perpendicular sunlight energy for about 2 to 3 weeks every spring, and then that's it. It's then too hot for these plants to really thrive. Here's your visual proof of what those look like, what you see, what they are. You get to step into it, spend some time, look around and understand what species are present out there and really where they are. Finally, we come back around to this idea of the anthropogenic influences that have happened up at Kamiak. There's a lot of interesting data here from my standpoint that I got to say, this was another step in by Aiden Almel, that he went up to the newspaper in Palouse, Washington, just past Kamiak Butte, got a little newspaper up there. I mean, it's a little room of an old building where they have all these old articles. They go back about to 1890, kind of like we're looking at Prism data or something, but this is where Aiden has gone through and pulled up a lot of these data and a lot of these information. And for instance, we can grab, it always puts us back to a place. In this case, this is a drawing from 1854 that somebody made of Kamiak Butte. So, you know, we've talked a lot about the anthropogenic influences on these different sites. These are all focused right back to Kamiak Butte. What do you see? Why did you see it there? What does it mean? Does it have... Now, one of the things I had photographs of, and they haven't made it onto the site, Yeah, the cairns. The cairn is a way that the Indians used, the Nez Perce Indians in particular, as they moved from Lapwai, Idaho, all the way over to Missoula, Montana, over into that area of the Blackfoot Indian tribe. The cairns were stacks of rocks along the trail that gave messages to other travelers. We found cairns up at Kamiak Butte as well. The same kind of an idea, even though it wasn't a big travel area, it was a place that they could leave messages between the different bands of Indians. In this case, we're talking about the Palouse band. That is the Indian population that lived right in the Palouse right here. So the Palouse band, you have no question about where the name the Palouse came from, right for that band of Indians. I think we also have our camp manager, Laura Bloomfield, right here, giving a talk about the, there she is. Yeah, Butte County Park, there she is. Anyway, that is a little bit more about the anthropogenic influences, and then an area that I'd like to see us build up a lot more. This case is about Chief Kamiak. He was a Palouse Indian band. Lands were populated by humans, but not initially by the European settlers of the 1700s, since time immemorial. So that is about all I have about Chief Kamiak here, giving his life history of being born from here, but his mom was a Yakima, his dad was a Nez Perce tribe member. And so their normal tradition is that kids are raised on the mom's reservation in that case. And he became chief of the Yakima tribe, Yakima Nation. Okay, a lot of great information, a lot of things to explore. I just kind of scratched the surface for you right now. But with that all said, what I do want to hit on to is to step out of this, and hopefully I can go back to my about. Our virtual ecology team, by the way, right here is our TAs right now sitting out here for us. This is part of that VR site. All the players for each semester. These are all the TAs we've had along the way. Where I'd like to go is to my YouTube channel right here. I say my YouTube, no. This is the WSU Virtual Ecology YouTube channel. We see it right here. We see the different video sets. This is just our home ribbon, but where I'd really like you to go is over here to playlists. When I tap onto that, what I'm doing is putting all the videos of a certain content into groups. So I've got moose, I've got elk, I've got deer, on and on like this. And if you look around close enough, you're going to find the porcupine, of course. Talk about that one. How about the bat? Little brown bat. Right here. I'm going to go ahead and play this one for a second. This is that one I put up last night that I was telling you about. You just saw him kind of go by for a second, little streaks of bright white in the background. There. There we go, pose. So that's a bat, but obviously it's hyper focused on by the camera because that is the nearest thing to that infrared camera. So it does a focus on that and leaves everything else as it was. If there was only a bat or only a deer or only an elk, moose, whatever it is, then they come up and focus just like you see the rest of it, like that larch tree on the left-hand side of the screen. There's our little bat. Okay, real exciting, right? But obviously you can turn on and off the closed captioning to find out who he is and what he's doing there. He goes along for a long time. I'm not going to force you through the entire 3 minutes of it, but I think, nope, I want to go back to that little brown bat. There we go. So for all of these, for instance, that moose, you've seen him before. You see the playlist of his actions that are coming across. Got another one of them right here. This is the one that went up last night. I didn't narrate this one. Anyway, all these different shots, what I want to get the idea back to you is you may not want that scene in your video that you do for class, but maybe you want something that looks more like this one right here. Okay, and you can capture that by making it full screen with the PowerPoint, you can capture your screen image. It will get that video recorded and put back onto your local machine. And now if you're really wanting some of these, you talk to me and I'll pass you off the MP4 that was the original source data for these. You want to build the video, I'll help you out every way I can. This is part of you making that video that you're going to show to class. This big guy here, I am so impressed that it comes right up to the camera, knocks its head down and starts to show off the antlers for the camera. It just knows he's a star. I mean, he's just a happy guy. Bullwinkle. Does anybody know Bullwinkle and Rocky anymore? I see a couple nodding heads. Okay. This is my Bullwinkle right here. All of these different scenes, you got a lot of different options for you to look at, whether it's the elk or any of the others. Now, one of the sets of video captures I made are actually, this is one you brought me, Eric. You brought me the, yeah, that's not the one I wanted to grab. You brought me the video set that had the bat on it. On that same camera, the next day, 2 elk walking by, a cow and a bull. It's just kind of a Leghorn bulls. I look at them, I think the brother and sister that just kind of tag team together. They're alone up there at the butte still. They haven't got the big herd behind them, but got this nice video. So if you're doing something about elk for your self-selected topic, this would be a good place to grab it. Those are the kind of videos we're going to see, use, do, you name it. Yeah, here's your elk walking around for the migration. Some more singles. Oh, this was a fun one now. Going through this whole story, folks, is a fun one again for Dr. Bill. But you go back to this idea, this cow right here. I did the video to talk about the migration that happened in this case this year in January 20th. The lead cow was leading the herd for a migration move. Middle of the night, we get about 80 elk ganging up to do that march across the road and over to Moscow Mountain. The next day, I pick up this cow. Think about what is going on with that. She missed the call. She missed the march. And she stayed up at Kamiak Butte, walking around those north-facing and south-facing aspects, looking for the rest of the herd. She missed it. And right about, I think it was January, maybe February, I realized she's pregnant. She's carrying a load right now and looking for a place to give birth. She just kept going around that butte until she found her birthing spot. I never saw the calf, never saw her again. But for about 4 months, we were watching her walking around, getting more and more pregnant every night. I didn't get any videos of her during the day. So right away, ask yourself, why? Why would I see that pregnant cow looking for everybody else only at night? She didn't want to go out under the daylight. There's a good question about that, and one for you to answer if you want to. But these are the kind of things you can pick out of these types of videos and understanding the story that we put together. There's a lot of good elk scenes. This is one of my favorites, though. This cow, again, back to the north-facing aspect. If you watch the deer fawns video, this is where a lot of those scenes were made. This cow, though, she sees that camera. It makes no noise. It's daylight, so there's no flashing infrared light at all. But we're looking at the camera. She walks up and sniffs it. She gives it a little lick. She gives a snort on the face of it and covers the camera lens with a little bit of elk snot. It's kind of clean, right? It's a clean, purifying step. Here she comes. Come on, Agnes. There you go. There you, yeah. First step was to say, well, now it's ruined, right? No, now she gives it a little lick. It's all right. It'll clear. Okay, this is the fun part of doing these game trail camera stuff, is not just the little kid who came by and saw the camera lens and did a dance for us. It's about the elk and the deer and the moose. I've got a moose coming along the same camera. He did the same thing. I don't know if there's some like ungulate catnip on there. I don't know. But these are the kind of things that you can capture off of this YouTube channel for this site. Again, I'm not going to burn all your time just looking at these, but a lot of it. There's some other scenes on there as well. But again, going back to this site, you see the links on this interface. where we're going with these data, what I'd like you to do is spend a little bit of time between now and Wednesday. Your whole video lecture is just to get onto that site now. Spend some time, poke around, and do two things for me. One, find any information you would like to use, knowing that I'm going to tap you right now to write your next term report section. I'm going to talk about, it's going to be two-phased. Obviously, there's an assignment, tree characteristics assignment that you got to do first, and then use those data in the writing of your next term report section. Okay, that's your two-step process on this, but the two things I want you to do, one is to get familiar with it. Number two, start to think about what you think would be very energetic and informational for you onto this interface that you see. What would you like to see different? Because I am totally listening, all of us are, the TAs and me. This is something that literally has been now built going on 2 years. It's going to only take about another 20 or so before this is just right, but we're putting it together. Piecing it up, listening to everything that you do and say, this would be a good idea to add on to it. All I can say is I'm all ears. Get onto it and grab up. Any questions about what I've just shown you here? There's an Excel file that I'll tap onto you for Wednesday where you're going to find the information you're going to have to populate for it. And that's Monday's lecture right there. So Wednesday's right here. This is the virtual field trip. This is the scene I did when we were in lockdown and Aiden came in through Zoom and gave the discussion about the interface through this virtual reality site. It looks totally different now. But a lot of the videos, a lot of the photographs, they're still the same. If you want to listen to Aiden's idea on this, please listen. He spent a lot of time and has been working on his master's degree for this, which, by the way, he defends in about a week for his master's. Based on what he mainly did right here. We're going to tap into these two files right here. We'll do it Wednesday. It's that Excel file. So if you can bring your laptop again on Wednesday to open that Excel file and walk through step by step, I'm going to go through all of the entry of those data, how you analyze them, how you process, how you do what I'm calling a bonus round of calculating the quadratic mean diameter of all the trees on the plot and then getting the quadratic mean diameter average of all of them. Okay, that isn't a straightforward one. It's not just taking average DBH. It is a more involved process. We'll do that one on Wednesday. If you can grab those data, bring them with you, or download them in class, that's fine. But take good notes if you don't have your computer with you, and we'll be able to fill them all in. With that all said, a lot of good stuff there. Again, everybody who's going to be signed, I think, is signed for the field trip. You know where to get your get out of class free cards to give to your other professors. Is there any questions we have about everything we've gone through here? Okay, a quick arms up. Who is my student drivers for Monday? Allie, it's you. Is there anybody else? Okay, I actually think that's right. Allie, I need to talk to you about timing for Monday morning. And I'll go with Eric and no, Darius, you're not driving Monday, are you? You are one of the Monday drivers. Perfect. Okay, so you guys come to me after a class, which let's go ahead and end 3 minutes early. Be one of the rare times Dr. Bill says you get out early. Rare times. Yes.